and welcome to ADHD Friendly, the podcast that is all about thriving with ADHD. I'm Patty Blinderman. I am excited to usher in episode 111. I'm an ADHD coach, creator of the ADHD Friendly membership platform. I invite you to check it out, ADHDfriendly.com. All right, I dropped all of my things and they are out of order, Becca. I got my recap on the top. Oh my gosh. Give me a second, guys. We're good.
They're numbered though.
They're numbered. That's why I'm like, it'll just take me a little second. Here's my celebration. Okay. It's funny. I have a funny celebration. Okay. Hello again. So I got a commercial break on like right now. Yeah.
Not yet.
So this is episode 111. I have a celebration I'm calling Test Menu.
Ooh.
And tying it to the thumbs up, thumbs down. I've got a little thumbs up, thumbs down that I'm going to reconnect to this week. And then I have an ADHD friendly tool called the bird test. Have you heard of the bird test?
I have not.
I'm going to explain. I hadn't either. I'm going to explain what it is and a funny conversation I had with my husband about it. And then the main topic, I'm just going to be sharing a couple of things about my test menu, like what that is for my membership community. It's a sparkly thing that I just want to share and maybe invite you to think about if you were going to have a test menu of your own in your life, what would that look like and how could you support yourself with it? And then just going to be sharing, I shared earlier in last week's session that I'm doing a virtual conference on successes. So I just have a little bit of information about what that looks like. And it's a funny episode. So I just invite you to hang with me, even if you are like a virtual session, whatever. I'm only like, it's like 5 sentences. It's really short, I promise. This episode will probably be pretty short, except unless we go off track on the bird test, because it was pretty funny. Okay, so let's jump into this episode 111. Triple ones, 111, 111. So first, my celebration is the test menu, which I talk a little bit about. I'm talking about it here, and then I might bring it up again when I talk about the virtual session. But I've shared, I was not talking past tense. I was at the conference in person last week, and right now the virtual conference is going on. And I needed to make, and I don't even have the final version in my hand yet because it's not back from the printer, because I'm doing this early because I'm going to the conference. So I had to record these in advance. But I made a little trifold brochure, and in the brochure, I shared on the left-hand side everything that is included in the ADHD Friendly membership to make it really clear that these are the things I promise. But there's a lot more that I do in the ADHD Friendly membership that isn't guaranteed, but it is sparkly. And the reason I do that is because, and this is really where my celebration is coming in. When I commit to doing something, I know myself well enough to know to ask if it's sustainable. And by that, I mean, if I offer it this time, what does it feel like even now when I think about doing it over the course of time, over and over again? And I've shared this when I talked about family traditions.
Yeah.
Before I commit to starting a new family tradition, I was really like, oh my gosh, am I going to want to do that every year? Even if it's just once a year, I'll feel fatigue and drain leading up to it if I commit to something that I just don't want to do. And the same is true for my membership offering. I have a lot of things I want to do, and a lot of things are very sparkly. But when it comes to promising and feeling like I'm out of integrity if I don't deliver, I can only promise what I'm confident I can deliver comfortably. But there's a lot more that I offer in the membership community that I don't imagine not offering it at any point.
Right.
But it feels like an invitation to call it a test menu instead of an expectation that I promised I have to do it. That creates a very different heavy feeling if I feel like I have to, as opposed to I get to, I choose to. So this is what I have to do, and I feel very comfortable doing. This is what I get to do, and I am testing. And so the test menu is literally offerings that I'm testing out. I'm seeing, are they sustainable for me? Is there an interest from the membership community? I have members give me ideas for things that they would like me to offer. I always say, if it's something that interests me, I'm totally open to trying it. If there's enough of a demand, that creates the interest and sparkle for me. So what I don't have I've noticed over time, a tolerance for is putting a lot of effort into creating something. And then there's just not a lot of interest to keep it going.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I do it and just a handful of people show up, it's still valuable because I'm connecting with people. But if I spend an enormous amount of time preparing, it's not sustainable, right? So it has to have a high enough level of interest for me to be able to sustain it over time. And so I always say the test menu are things that I'm exploring interest in the membership community and ability for myself to continue offering it. So some of these things I've been offering for months. They've been included since I did my kind of beta test for my ADHD friendly membership that I can't imagine letting them go. But some of the other ones are just kind of sparkly fun, like, we'll see what that looks like. And so, Becca, I had a couple of ideas yesterday for some other test menu offerings that I might offer in the future. So I'm just sharing this. And I invite you to think about, what would you test in your life before you if feeling like committing to doing that for the rest of time is too heavy, let's let that go and invite ourselves to explore, what would it be like if I tested that out and just tried it once or twice to see what I like or don't like about it.
Yeah.
So I thought of, I've done body double sessions before where people came and they sorted paper or sorted mail. What if we just shred?
Ooh.
What if it's like a shred and trash session where we're just collecting trash or we're just shredding? That's it. We just body double while we're getting rid of, the things that we really don't want in whatever way we need to get rid of them, whether we're putting them in recycling, putting them in trash bags. I've body double clients before where they walked around with a plastic trash bag and just collected all the cups and trash and things. So I thought that could be sparkly, just shred or get rid. And then the other thing that I had that I'm adding to my potential future test menu offerings is the Unbook Club.
Ooh.
Sorry, I get so giddy with these. They're just like sparkly to me. And what that is you don't have to read any specific book. We show up at the same time virtually and we all read our own book.
I love that. It's like you're keeping yourself accountable.
Yeah, it's creating the space to hold the space to follow through with the intention to read, but you get to read what you want to read at the pace you want to read it. So it's not this expectation that you read the book that was selected for this month. And I picked it because I'm on my third book in a row with my library book club.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to get through the book. It's about ogres. It's a New York Times best-selling book. A lot of people like it. I might end up liking it. I'm going to go through at least 3 chapters before I decide.
Ogres?
But yeah, it's about ogres. I literally looked at the cover. I'm like, it looks like Shrek.
I was literally going to
like Shrek. Yes. So I may not read it. But what I noticed is I kind of resent a little bit that I'm expecting my brain to read it because I have a stack of books I want to read.
Right,
and I'm putting them aside to read this one. So I thought, what if we do an unbook club and we just come together and read? So that's sparkly to my brain. Again, I have no idea if it'll be interesting, but it's a test menu. So I just put it out there. I share what it is and see if there's an interest. It's what we do in the ADHD friendly community for the members. And I just invite you to check it out because today is the last day when this airs that you can join ADHD friendly at the conference discounted price and lock it in, because one of my platforms and missions with ADHD friendly is never to raise the price from the time that you join, as long as your membership continues without interruption. If you quit and come back, if you cancel it and come back in some future date, if it's a higher amount, you will have to pay the higher amount. But if you join, you are guaranteed to stay at the rate that you came in at. And it's a discount right now. So I invite you until midnight tonight.
Ooh.
It is discounted. So ADHDfriendly.com. If you'd like to check out what's promised, the left side of the, I should probably put a picture of this up because I think it's so much clearer.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'll do that. I'll put it, maybe it'll be there by the time this airs. I don't know, guys, I gotta be honest.
We'll see.
Getting ready for the conference, I'm a little overwhelmed. But Becca, can you make a note for me to do that so that, just send me an email and then I'll save the email as new until I do it. Okay, there's a little back end administrative little support there. All right. On to the ADHD friendly tool for this week. Get ready, Becca. It's an interesting one. So if you've never heard of the bird test, which I had not, luckily I read this last night when I was hanging out with my husband and it just made me laugh. So this was in today.com So it's the headline which grabbed my attention was, what's the bird test? It can tell how long your relationship will last with one sentence.
What?
Yes, of course. That's totally good on you today. You got me.
Really good.
Because I was totally like, I am such a sucker for these things. I'm like, what does it mean? Are we doomed? You know? Fortunately, I've been married long enough, pardon me, to know these tests are just fun. They
Silly.
but they can also give us little nuggets to learn from. So like everything else, one of my mantras is take what works for you, leave the rest behind. So here's the premise. I'm going to read a little bit of this because I highlighted. So it's, the bird test is a way to assess the health and longevity of a relationship. So I'm going to like literally give you some of the information from this Today article. So it says when one partner points out something that could be deemed significant to the other person, such as seeing a bird nearby, does the other person respond with genuine interest?
I have heard of this.
Yes.
Yes.
Thoughts?
That's what it was. No, I liked it because it made sense. Because if you're like, oh my God, look at this awesome bird I see outside. If they ignore you, you're gonna feel really crummy. But if they're like,
Okay.
yeah, that's great, I think you're gonna be excited about it.
I love the energy you just brought to that. And the two things that I'm just going to say based on that is, if you said that to me the way you just said it, I am absolutely looking at the bird, right? But if you said, oh, there's a bird out there, come see it. So she said, awesome bird, and your energy was very heightened. So that would have pulled me in. But if you were like, hey, Patty, there's a bird outside the window, come take a look. I'd be like, why not?
Really? No, I don't care about a bird.
So I immediately filtered this through my ADHD lens, which you know is what I do. And I pushed back because I was like, that doesn't sound interesting. And our brains are wired for interest. So I think this test is rigged to fail for ADHD brain wiring.
Oh.
So I was a little put off by it. And so I mentioned it to my husband and we were both laughing because he was like, well, is it an owl? Because I'd go look at an owl. And I was like, that's true. Because I did see an owl. And then he also clarified further, if it's a bird named after a sports team.
He's like, I'm all over.
He's like, if it's a cardinal, a blue jay, I'm out there. I'm looking at it. But if it's like just generic bird, like I don't even know what, like a chickadee, I don't know, like a bird that I don't even know the name of. He's like, probably not going to go look at it. I'm like, fair enough. So I would like anything say, if this interests you, let's take what works and leave the rest behind, right? So let's keep interest in mind. Let's keep what the other person's doing and how hard it is to shift if we're trying to do a task and you're asking me to pull my attention to go look at a bird and I am going to have to come back and really focus, even if I'm looking at my phone, but if I'm looking at it because I'm reading the bird test, right? And you ask me, I'm literally researching for a podcast episode. It wasn't like we were having a conversation. We're just all, we're sitting in the same space doing something independently and you're asking me to go look at the bird. It may not be the best time for me to look at the bird.
Right. I'm not going to want to look at it.
But if you say it like Becca, which was so perfect, which is awesome. Like you totally have my attention. So a little bit more information. So the bird test is when you literally point out something significant and observe how your partner reacts. Okay. So it's really talking about this turning in and turning out.
Yeah.
Are they turning into what you're sharing and are interested in what you're interested in? Or are they turning out and tuning you out? Basically like, I don't care what you find interesting. I'm doing my thing. So I think of that almost like a shun, unshun kind of thing.
Totally.
Like a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up thing. Read the room.
Yeah.
Notice if what you're sharing is, it's like, oh my gosh. Like I was like, we got into, we had what they, ironically, we had an engaged 10-minute conversation about birds, but not because we were looking out the window at a specific bird. So I thought that works for us, because what I've also noticed in all of these little tests is my husband and I don't fit into the neat traits. Often they're outlined in how do you know if your relationship's successful, but it works for us.
You guys. Yeah,
and so we had so much fun talking about the different things that would pull your attention, not, and even got a little like spicy and the different, I'm like, okay, what if I did this? What if I said this? That was like, we were just both like cracking up about the different things that would be like turning towards or turning
Right.
from, where it's like, oh, you got my interest. Oh, nope, not
Sorry,
interested.
bye.
And it's funny because I'll even share this with my kids who are also impacted by ADHD.
Yeah.
Some of them have interests that I have zero interest in. And so, for example, last week I offered to one of my daughters, I wanted to go for a walk and I wanted her to go for a walk with me. And so I offered her a very rare thing.
Ooh.
And that was that she could talk about any topic that she wanted to.
Wow.
And I promised I'd pay attention for half of the walk. And I knew exactly where the halfway point was. I knew I could honor that.
Engage until
Yep. I was like, you can talk about anything. I don't do that often because it's very difficult for me to focus on something I'm not interested in. And my kids have a lot of interest, but zero interest in my brain. Zero. And so I have to, if they want to tell me something that I'm not interested in, I have to put parameters around it and say, I can give you 90 seconds, go.
Yeah.
And that's it. Cause my brain knows how long I have to focus. It almost reminds me back when I used to be in labor with my kids. And I was like, it's a contraction line. It's like, okay, you have until the end of the contraction. You have 90 seconds.
Good.
And then if I know, because that's literally, it's painful for my brain to focus on something I'm not interested in. So the bird test is interesting.
Yeah.
But making it work for you is what I find more interesting, right? Finding a way to engage with your partner that works for both of you. So we're not slipping into judgment. We're having more successes than failures. And what we're achieving is that deeper connection instead of a weaker connection.
Yeah.
So they said turning toward is the #1 tip for maintaining a healthy relationship. And they said the language is to notice when the other person's making a bid for attention, a bid to turn towards them. So it maybe even like they talked about languaging that part of that. So it might be like, hey, I'm bidding your attention. Come look at the bird. I really, I'm looking at that's, but so do what works for you, but think about how to turn towards more consistently than turn away from. And it says, if you talk about the bird outside and it's not interesting, maybe you acknowledge, is it something that I need to see right now? Like, is it like a bird where you're not just kind of like, I don't care.
Right.
And I feel like maybe you don't care, but maybe there's a language that you could say that meets that bid with a little energy and a little attention to let them know, like, I can't walk away right now to look at the bird. Maybe you can take a picture or maybe you can describe it to me. Because if I get up and walk away, I'm not going to want to come back and work on this or whatever it is.
What I'm doing right now.
Yep.
Oh, that's fair.
So the bird test.
Oh, I loved that.
That's it. And then there was a second thing. So I have a really quick, I'm going to bring in my thumbs up, thumbs down. I told you, like, the bird test felt like it almost should be the main topic for today. It probably should have been. Let's reverse the whole order of things. So here's my little ADHD hyper focus for you. I don't know if you could see out here on the side here. I've got some toilet paper. So I want to clarify, they are both the exact same Charmin brand, purchased from Costco. Still love Costco.
Love Costco.
So this is original. Well, the most recent iteration of
the toilet paper.
The Charmin Ultra, like really soft, really plush. We go Cadillac of toilet paper in this house. I do not have family members that are willing to sacrifice when it comes to toilet paper. And it's not cheap. No. It's expensive. So I buy a whole new package of it, but I still have some of the original, thankfully. Because when I open the new package,
was it different?
It looks the same. Does it look different to you if I pull them apart?
I'm zooming in right now.
So here's the thing. They're the exact same width. Whoops. Or the exact same number of sheets, but the sheets themselves are smaller. Bum, bum, bum.
Oh my gosh.
I was furious. Look at this. It looks like a mini. I literally, it was on the roll and I was like, on the, like when you, on the toilet paper dispense.
You're like, what?
I thought I was in my head. I was like, it looks tiny. That looks tiny. And then I was like, does it matter? It's a little narrower. But here's the thing. The price didn't shrink. I know it's shrinkage. I know that's like a term that's thrown around, but this is literal evidence of shrinkage.
That's a good like half inch.
The last like month since or whatever, 6 weeks since the last time we purchased toilet paper. Come on.
That's a big difference.
So I give, sorry, Charmin, good quality. Sorry, no. I give it a thumbs down.
Yeah.
Thumbs down to the shrinkage.
Sorry.
If you're going to shrink the toilet paper,
shrink
shrink
the
the price.
price.
But here's the thing. It is so distracting. I'm having to tolerate the difference constantly because it just looks like it's like dollhouse toilet paper. It just has this weird impact when I'm like, why is it so small? Every time I say it, why is it so small?
It's so narrow.
I am not loving this. It's draining me as a toleration. Thumbs down to the change.
And since you still have like the original,
Yes.
you're like,
And to not making it clear that I am paying the same price for less. I would rather you raise my price $1 or whatever it is and give me the same product because I don't like the little narrow toilet paper on the roll. It looks like I am being shortchanged. Thumbs down to Charlotte.
thumbs down.
My first official thumbs down. Sorry. So the one thing they did, which apparently it's supposed to tear more easily, is they changed the to get the roll started to show you. They changed the way that the edging is. It's a little scallop. I'd rather have the toilet paper. Go back.
Half an inch of the.
Yeah, give me back what I paid for or raise the price. Don't keep shrinking it. I don't like it.
What's gonna end up next time?
I know, right? Are we going to go to mini? Like little minute? It's annoying. So thumbs down. That's my first thumbs down. Okay, I'm going to need to change my prep form to include a thumbs down section so I remember to do thumbs down. Quick time for a commercial break. Hello, friends. I'm ADHD Friendly Girl. Are you overwhelmed, unmotivated, run down? Do you stop before you start? The answer to your challenges can be found at ADHD Friendly. ADHD Friendly is where we make the doing easier. Join ADHD Friendly today and start tilting the playing field in favor of your ADHD brain and start thriving. ADHDfriendly.com, where intention meets action. I'm back. All right. So quick, I told you guys I'm going to keep this super fast. I am doing the virtual session later today, December 6th. It is at 4 p.m. Eastern time. If you are registered for the conference, there's only 3 sessions at that time period. They're all very different topics. So if this topic resonates with you, I hope you'll check it out. It's called Capturing Successes, a Powerful Tool Against Negativity Bias.
Ooh.
Thank you, Becca. She's so supportive.
Love
It's not a
that.
great title. It really isn't. I don't love it.
Yeah.
My original title was, I had a lot of them, but one of them that I really loved was Capture Successes, the Guardians of ADHD Brains. And I was like, but I was afraid I would get flagged for taking, Guardians of the ADHD Brains. That's okay. But it's a very sparkly topic, very important to support your brain. And if you're not able to check it out, if you're not attending the conference virtually, that's okay. I got you covered. Way back in episode 35, I did a whole session on how I capture successes and what's in it for me to do that. So you can watch that episode. I have no doubt, because I talk about this a lot, that I hit a lot of the points that I'll be sharing in the same session today.
Yeah.
And as a reminder, last day to join ADHD Friendly and get the conference discount that expires at midnight tonight. So ADHDfriendly.com to check it out and see if it's a good fit for you to use it to thrive with ADHD. So that's it for this episode 111. If you haven't subscribed, I invite you to do so. We're knocking over 400. Talked about the bird test. Really encourage you, make it work for you. Take what works for you, leave the rest behind, as with everything I share. And if you're able to attend the virtual session today, there is a live Q&A. Even though the session itself is a recording, there's a live Q&A. I'll be there. I hope to see a few of you there. And then I forgot last time, Becca, so I'm going to share my quote from my book. I put it literally in my lap so I wouldn't forget this time. Okay. My quote is from, remember, our trusty Excellent Advice for Living by Kevin Kelly. And today's quote is, don't take it personally when someone turns you down. Assume they are like you, busy, occupied, distracted. Try again later. It's amazing how often a second try works.
Kevin?
I love that. It just stays focused on the positive. That's it for this episode. Thanks again for your attention, for tuning in, for checking it out, for subscribing if you subscribed. And we'll see you next time. Until then, tally ho.